Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero. We are back again talking about the Dragon Age, the Veilguard director Corinne Bush, completely gone, rumored to be closing down the Edmonton Studio, missing the sales targets by 85%. That's right, when you decide you're going to push absolute alphabet community propaganda into your video games, making it so that you have to be trans in this game to get 100%, as well as doing ideological nonsense like someone doing push-ups in order to repent for misgendering somebody. That's absolutely stupid. Let's get into this article here from That Park Place. In a development that has sent ripples through the gaming industry, Corinne Bush, who is a trans person, who is male, game director of Dragon Age the Veilguard, has left BioWare. Leak: Corinne Bush, game director of Dragon Age Veilguard, has left BioWare and EA. BioWare Edmonton, the Veilguard studio, to be shuttered. Now again, this is all rumors, so take it with a grain of salt. This news, revealed by Mark Kern, aka Grums, and YouTuber SmashGT, comes amid troubling rumors that BioWare's flagship Edmonton Studio may close as early as next month. The potential closure of this 3-story office, which opened just 5 years ago, signals a grim future for the once revered RPG studio. And as they're working on Mass Effect 5, which I don't have any high hopes for that, after Mass Effect Andromeda, the disaster that was that game. Grums and SmashJT shared details from an internal email later verified by a source within EA, where Bush announced leaving BioWare to pursue new projects. Bush frames this departure as voluntary. I highly doubt that, but it's certainly possible the studio stepped in and forced this. Following the underwhelming performance of the Veilguard, which fell far short of sales expectations by a reported 85% and received harsh criticism, this leadership change is viewed by some as a move to stabilize the faltering studio. Because how do you go from creating great games like Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, the Mass Effect trilogy, to making the current garbage that is coming out of this studio? I don't understand how that makes any type of sense as to why you'd even consider making these trash projects. Hard to believe I'm writing these words, but here it goes. Bush said in the email, "It's time to say goodbye. Today's my last day at BioWare and EA. After so much contemplation, I decided to pursue a new challenge and a new project, doing what I love most, making RPGs. Even though you made the RPG about yourself and didn't actually care about what the fans wanted, it was all about what the developers liked and not what the fans actually wanted. It wasn't an easy decision, as I mean it when I say I love BioWare. No, you don't. The Dragon Age team. No, you don't. And what we've all accomplished together, creating a failing game and possibly ending a studio's life cycle. My time with all of you has been the highlight of my career. I want to offer my personal thanks to each of you for your trust, your companionship, and for the many ways in which you've inspired me and helped me grow. I'll be eagerly waiting to see what great experiences you create next, and as a fan, I'll be rooting for you, if the studio is even still around. If I can leave you with any advice, it is this: never listen to Corinne Bush. Let's just keep it real. Don't ever hire a person like her, or him, I should say. We all know making games is hard when all you want to do is pump ideology into it rather than making a game fun. It's part of why we do it. But making games is also about the people and the reliance we have on one another. So take the time to celebrate the wins and lift each other up. The challenge and the work will always be there, but the moments we have with each other are precious and few. Let's stay in touch." That's not the only news. According to SmashJT's EA source, BioWare Edmonton's closure is rumored to be announced before EA's February 2025 town hall meeting. The timing coincides with reports of disappointing financial performance and project delays, including the much-anticipated Mass Effect sequel. Dragon Age the Veilguard has been a focal point of BioWare's struggles, selling under 1.5 million copies against a projected 10 million after a 10-year development cycle. According to SmashGT's internal source, its dwindling player base, down 90% within 2 months, reflects widespread dissatisfaction. Critics have pointed to a combination of creative missteps and an increasing focus on corporate DEI initiatives over core gameplay values as reasons for the studio's decline. This isn't the first high-profile departure from BioWare in recent months. Sylvia, I'm not even going to try saying that last name, a senior writer with 15 years at the company, also left following the Veilguard's launch. These exits compound the uncertainty surrounding BioWare's future, leaving the fate of series like Mass Effect and Dragon Age up in the air, and I believe the ex-BioWare developers are now working on a game called Exodus, which looks great. BioWare was once a studio that celebrated creativity and pushing the envelope. But under Bush's leadership, Dragon Age went from a dark fantasy epic to a sloppily written cartoonish gender politics lesson, and this was actually the scene where this character misgendered this character, because this character is non-binary, apparently, which is not real. There are only two genders. Everything else is a mental illness. I've said this plenty of times, and I'm sticking with that. Complete with mandatory pronoun selection, and even the opportunity to add top surgery scars to the player character, the Rook. These politically charged initiatives have proven to repel gamers. Recently, Lords of the Fallen developer CI Games issued a poll that asked gamers if they prefer traditional male and female gender selection options in a medieval fantasy game, as they should, over the gender-neutral body type in A, B previously included in their 2023 release, as well as Elden Ring. With nearly 50,000 votes, the audience voted overwhelmingly to reject gender politics and keep traditional male-female options, because there are only two genders. There's male and female, man and woman. Only two sexes, man and woman. CI Games then vowed to not only stick to male and female going forward, but also to go back and update the Lords of the Fallen game to reflect the player choice. Very good, and that's going to lead to more sales. It will be interesting to see if other studios take note of this vital demographic assessment, which is basically just listening to the player and listening to what the fans want, not what you want as a developer. Again, you can create a game any way you want, but when you actually ask for fan feedback and listen to fan feedback, you'll get a positive response. You'll get positive feedback from the player. BioWare in particular has the next Mass Effect coming down the pipeline. If the studio fails to learn from the mistakes of Veilguard and fills Mass Effect with gender politics and DEI, which is forced diversity, equity, inclusion, not just black characters that are written well, and basically filling the games with black or gay characters that the only thing they're about is either being black or gay, respectively between the two, then we might have seen the once legendary RPG maker's final chapter. And it was originally called Dreadwolf. It wasn't even called the Veilguard. Of course, Bush took no personal responsibility for the massive failure in public. Instead, the deeply unpopular director pointed toward a supposed hate campaign to explain away the dismal sales and skyrocketing return rate for Veilguard. As Smash JT put it, make no mistake, this is the beginning of the end for one of the gaming's most storied studios, all thanks to forced diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is DEI, or didn't earn it. Whether that prophecy holds true remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: BioWare's future hangs in the balance. Yeah, it does. I do believe that if Mass Effect 5 doesn't do well after the trash that was, Anthem, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, as well as Mass Effect Andromeda, BioWare's done. And EA has a history of closing multiple studios, like the SimCity studio, the studio that made Dead Space. They closed a studio down that made Medal of Honor. I don't know if everybody remembers Medal of Honor, but they did close that studio down as well. They closed down those three studios that I can remember for the developers of Dead Space, which were Visceral Studios, Medal of Honor, and it's the Sims / SimCity for Maxis. So they've closed. They have a history of closing down studios when stuff doesn't do well, and it's like they're not helping for these things to do well. They're not doing anything to make these things do well. They're just now just putting out whatever, and not seeing the returns they expect. They have these high budget games like Dragon Age: The Veilguard and Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, and they're just not producing quality games. And Anthem, I thought, was going to be a great game. I played it for quite a bit, and it just became a nothing. It just became nothing. So, hopefully they can bounce back, learn from their mistakes, create Mass Effect 5 to be absolutely great. Hopefully with the return of Commander Shepard, although I think his story wrapped up perfectly fine with the trilogy, but obviously Andromeda was terrible. So, thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like the video, hit the like button and comment below if you feel about it. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all. That way you get a notification anytime I post a new video or go live on this channel. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.